And today I think I want to discuss a very special attitude that I think that is implicit in being a meditator. In a sense, we are contrarians. We act against the majority pull in society. We could say that taking an hour or two to sit in meditation and do nothing is contrary to our society. It's revolutionary in a sense. I think, to put it more aptly in today's context, it means that we're not playing along with that fear of missing out. In a sense, we're calling it quits, at least for an hour or two when we meditate. We're saying, I'm done chasing whatever happiness we're typically chasing. I'm done with the rat race. I'm done going. And I choose to just rest in my own nature, to rest in my own being, to rest in my actual humanity in the present moment. And so there's an outer and inner aspect of this contrarian attitude. The outer aspect is the physical, that you quit life when you're meditating. You quit life for an hour or two, or not really life, but artificial life, that endless pursuit of doing. And then there's the inner aspect of being a contrarian, that as we apply ourselves to the technique, which is typically placing our attention on some sort of sensation in the body, unless you're using mantra or some sort of mental visualization, but with me, most of the time it's going to be focusing on a sensation in the body. You're moving your awareness out of that state of conceptual thought. If we can think of different altitudes in the atmosphere, the wind moves at different speeds. And at one layer, the thought layer, the everyday thought layer, that's really where most of our suffering lies. The countless thoughts. I mean, our brain is designed to spit out thoughts all the time. That's why trying to just stop thinking, that's not really a thing in meditation. You'd have to have a stroke or something of a special type to cease thoughts. So it's really about forming a relationship with the thoughts, but in a sense, because of our relationship where we place our attention mostly on the sensations in the body, not what we think about the body, or not what we think about our life, or what we think about the future or the past. It's as if we dip out of that strata in the atmosphere where it's so turbulent and so painful, because when we think we're about to get that thing we want, that satisfaction, that release, that happiness or fulfillment, as long as it's in the thinking layer, it doesn't last. It's almost like we're being pulled along by a carrot on a stick. And we see this in what we do in daily life. And I'm generalizing, so this might not be the case for you, but it's almost how people approach scrolling on a phone, where the reason we keep scrolling, aside from the dopamine thing, it's really maybe the next image is gonna be the one. Maybe the next image, the next video is gonna make me happy enough. And it's not. And then we scroll, and we end up scrolling faster and faster. It's, in Buddhism, there's that word samsara, the wheel, the endless wheel of suffering. It's a cycle. And in a strange way, scrolling on social media is a great representation for the way we scroll through the thoughts of our mind, constantly, endlessly seeking that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But I don't know about you, but it has never come for me. And I've been on this earth for about half a century. But what we can do is just release that fear of missing out and do the revolutionary act of dipping out of that strata in the atmosphere, of the thought strata, and move into more of a feeling state. And of course, the thoughts do occur anyway, but they move to the background of our focus. They are no longer our priority. They no longer hold promise for us. And that's the attitude that we can employ in meditation, that we know and trust that the solution is not in the conceptual thought layer of the mind, that is just a wheel that keeps on turning. And sometimes it gives us pretty pictures, and sometimes it gives us unhappy pictures, and all sorts of pictures in between. But the wheel never stops turning. But we can stop participating in the turning by moving into a state of being and effortless presence and just resting. And that's the revolutionary act. We don't engage the way most of planet Earth is engaging, not just on scrolling on a piece of flat glass, but scrolling through the thoughts of the mind, hoping that the very next thought will be the happiness we seek. So in the end, it's really just an act of surrender and letting go into a more profound and more original state of being. Imagine at some point in our evolution as humans, or whatever we were a million years ago, we probably didn't have thoughts the way we do now, but we knew how to be. Maybe even when we were like single-celled organisms, we knew how to be, and there was no mental suffering the way there is now. It's just having this new part of the brain is problematic. It's really good at thinking. It's like overdeveloped. So we return to a more primordial state in meditation. So that's just an attitude that we can take no matter what practice we do, that we are contrarians, that we are revolutionaries, that we just quit. We quit the rat race. And it's an attitude that you can apply in an acute way during meditation when you find yourself swept away in a daydream, or a nightmare, or a fantasy, or worry, or rumination. Just remind yourself, I quit. I do not want to participate. I quit. And then dip back down into a more fundamental layer of being, into the feeling sense, right? Whether it's returning to the sensation of the breath at the nostrils, or the feeling of your belly expanding on the inhale, or resting in the central channel of the spine, whatever technique. That's how we can bring ourselves back to the practice, just saying, I quit, over and over again. And it can be more gentle every time because we get used to quitting, and then we become professional quitters. And in a great session, it's almost like you're fully retired during the meditation session, retired from that mental rat race. And that's a really nice thing to experience. And if it doesn't happen, even the judgment is the rat race. We cannot judge our practice. Just move on with our life till the next opportunity to meditate again. And at least there's some reprieve there in our meditation sessions, when we don't have to join the actual rat race in our modern day-to-day lives.